What's good, folks? Mike Bravo here, Kimichi Pili, OG Baby Mouse. I just want to follow up on another perspective and reflection on the First Baptist Church of Venice fight. Since it's still Black History Month, it's important for us to reflect. And, we're always trying to authentically represent and educate people whenever, we do things. And just a quick reminder for those who don't know, who might not know, I'm referring to the 2017 to 2021 fight for the oldest African American church community space in Venice. And I'm going to be focusing on the angle of invisibility and politics, deceptive politics in general. So one of the accomplishments I think, we also, that Save Venice / Defend Venice has accomplished with that fight is that we got a lot of national and international attention. And I think it helped firmly establish Venice, in particular, put us on the map in terms of activism. A lot of people out there that have very, misinformed notions about the Westside, even though it is gentrified, don't get me wrong. False notions about the Westside, Venice in particular. A lot of times, it's the butt of a lot of jokes you hear from other places. Oh yeah, go back to the Westside. Oh yeah, go, send the gentrifiers back to Venice. But just as a quick note, point of information, Venice, West LA has some of the oldest Black and brown communities in California. And just a quick note, why Venice matters to everyone is because Venice is Los Angeles beach, right? LA County has a few beaches, but the city of LA, which is the biggest city in the county, Venice Beach is LA's beach. So all the things that happen out here, all the gentrification shenanigans, the white nationalist supremacy shenanigans out here, it affects your beach and your access to your beach, and then your comfortability when you get to your beach. So just a quick note right there. Also, on the note of invisibility, so when we won that fight back in 2021, again, against the odds, you can Google it. Our victory was in 2021, and it lined up with the George Floyd uprisings, BLM marches, and all that stuff like that. So a lot of initiatives and policies and money started to be, invested in, Black communities across the country, right? But most of those investments that were being done in LA were being done for a lot of the more commonly known, kind of what I consider kind of cliche Black communities like Compton or South Central. So while, you would think the notion of like, oh yeah, investing in Black communities and Black history and things like that is good, and it is. A lot of the more insidious element is that a lot of the investment was targeting places outside the West Side or outside of areas of other Black and brown communities that aren't well known. Right. So again, that's by design. It's not by accident. They invest in our invisibility locally here, while investing in the Black and brown communities, but again, outside of the West Side. So we have to be careful with that. A lot of times that's all. A lot of times they get us like that. They push seemingly good policies when the devil's in the details, as they say, right? Another good example of this is the Cannabis Equity Program. For those who don't know, it's a policy or a program meant to make amends for the racist war on drugs. But most of the programming and investments for that is outside of the West Side, right? So it's good that they're trying to invest in Black and brown businesses and make amends, right? But again, it's to investments for us to be somewhere else, not to be here in our traditional communities that we help build. They don't want to establish real equity for, the real OGs, the real rooted people here on the West Side. And the few, Black and brown people that do get in on the West Side, they're usually beholden to a lot of the gentrification business networks. So ultimately, like, the rooted community loses, despite whatever Black or brown face they might put up front. Another reflection I wanted to add is that, we know Black history is very marginalized, and there's still a lot of ground that this country and a lot of our local institutions need to do on that part. But if you also consider that, the Mexican history is even more marginalized and more invisible. That includes, the Tongva history and other Spanish-speaking indigenous people. But yeah, that's my few choco beans for the moment. But yeah, that's it. Peace.